Between park boards, powder riders, and all mountain rippers, Capita has too many sick boards to choose from. So how do you know which is the right one for you? Over the past 5 years, I've been riding as many Capita boards as I could across every terrain. Through this time, we've seen brand new models hit the shelves that have become quick staples across the slopes. Whether you're looking for that one board to rule them all or a fun ride to add to your quiver, I'll be breaking down the top boards from each category based on my own personal experience riding each. One of the hottest boards in the Capita line since its release in 2024 is the Aeronaut. Designed by Arthur Longo, this board is meant to rip across the resort in whatever capacity you need. This is a directional medium flex board that has a positive camber profile with 0 camber tips. The shape of this board consists of a set back stance with a progressive side cut to give it a special feel that is still familiar. The original identity of this board was a narrower ride, but since its launch, there have been wide specific sizes added to the line. I've ridden this board in both the 157 and 159. At 6 feet and 150 pounds, I preferred the 157, which was noticeably more maneuverable while being more fun overall for me. I had fun everywhere with this board, although it was not my favorite board on rails because of its directional shape. Because of all this, I would suggest the Aeronaut for any all-mountain intermediate rider and up who is going into the park only occasionally. It manages great in powder, is fun across all groomers, and I've helped many people get on this board for their daily driver. The Aeronaut rings in at $699.95. Moving on to our next board, the Kazu Kokubo Pro is one I get asked about very often. At a quick glance on the spec sheet, this may look similar to the Aeronaut, but it is not. This is going to be a stiffer ride, more geared towards powder riding than the Aeronaut, because the positive camber profile releases in rockered tips. For me, this board felt like no joke of a ride. It wants to go fast and rip hard. With a larger side cut radius, this board is not super turny and trends more downhill through cars. This is a board for advanced riders, especially those looking for a high octane powder ripper. Of course, the Kazu is still in the all mountain category, but may handle deeper snow better than others such as the Aeronaut. This is a board I plan on riding a lot more this season, so stay tuned for videos on that. The Kazu sits on the shelf at $699.95. Another board that has taken a lot of the attention in the Capita line is the Megadeth. This board has straight up been one of my most favorite boards of all time and deserves all the praise you may have heard of it. This is a directional, all-mountain freeride board with a regular camber profile, beginning with a rocker nose and a tail which is part rocker, part 0 camber. The Megadeth has a shovel-shaped nose that is 11 millimeters wider than the tail to make it float like a dream in powder. The layers of carbon fiber above and below the core help to make this one of the lightest boards while also delivering the most pop and responsiveness. That makes this one lively board when you input the required energy into it. The underside of this board is composed of the highest quality to give you a race base like you've never felt before. It may even surprise you how fast this board is because it did for me. Because of that, I do not hit rails on this board. It is far too nice of a base to be bashing it on steel. Otherwise, I ride it everywhere else on the mountain. This is one of my favorite carving boards. It blasts side hits and rides powder like you wouldn't believe. The Megadeth is one I would suggest to advanced riders who are not looking to ride in the park. Given that this is Capita's most premium ride, the Megadeth costs $1,099.95. Stepping it back to a board that is much more attainable for most riders, let's look at the DOA. This is a board that has stood the test of time in the Capita lineup, and for good reason. The DOA has a true twin shape with a mid to stiff flex that offers a versatile ride across the resort. You'll have a positive camber profile here, which releases in 0 camber tips, ending with a slight rocker. These features make for a great ride anywhere, and one which will fare better in a freestyle manner compared to the other boards we have mentioned thus far. This is a great choice for someone who is looking for a board to do everything. Even if you are still finding your comfort in the park, this intermediate and up-leveled board can help you get to where you want to be. Or if you're specifically looking for a park board, the DOA is a great choice too. That's how I chose to use it when I rode it in the 158. It's a blast on rails, reliable on any size jump, and even fun for mini shred messing around. Capita's best-selling board can be yours too for $579.95. One of the cornerstones of the snowboard community is the local shop. Here in Aspen, it's Radio Board Shop, and it's the place to get the best info on gear, share the stoke, and crack a beer. You can find any of the last 4 boards I mentioned for sale at radioboardshop.com or by following the link in the description. It's the best way for you to support the content we produce and the best way to support independently run local snowboarding. Thanks. If you've been a fan of the DOA in the past, maybe the Super DOA is your next best board to check out. This premium build of the DOA is going to be meant for the same terrain, but for a slightly more advanced riding style. With the addition of carbon additives in the fiberglass sheets, along with a 3D thermopolymer Starship core, you will have a lighter and much more energetic board. You can see some of the 3D milled core on the top sheet in the nose, tail, and midsection of the board. This makes the board slightly stiffer than the original DOA, while taking a little more force to initiate, which returns much more. You've also got a much faster base on this board to keep you zooming. This could easily be a more confident rider's go-to board for everything, and actually one that I will mainly be riding this season. If you're someone who spends more of your time sending in the park or even competing, you can't go wrong. The Super DOA sits at $799.95. Another one of my personal favorite boards is the Black Snowboard of Death, or BSOD. This has been my daily driver for many seasons, and I ride it in the 159. This is going to have the same shape and profile of the Megadeth, but in a much more approachable ride. Even so, I would still suggest this for advanced intermediate riders since it wants to charge. Although I don't bring this board in the park, I love carving it all over the mountain and launching natural features with it. It's one of my favorite boards for a powder day because it holds up for however hard I want to send while also keeping me floating. Because of its directionality, this is a great one and done board for you if you're riding in all terrain except the park. The BSOD brings up at $749.95. A more comfortable ride for a larger range of riders is the Navigator. This board really surprised me on how fun it is across the mountain. I was riding it in the 158 on fun powder days and typical groomer days, which I found great for both. With the 12 millimeters of taper, this board floats excellently and feels wider than it really is. It made me feel really stable in deeper snow, which makes it a great choice for riders who are still figuring out powder while being a blast for the expert level boarder at the same time. This is a positive camber board with reverse camber tips and a medium flex. The parabolic tapered side cut makes this board really fun to turn across the mountain. This resort and powder ripper will be a good choice for lower intermediate level riders and up, looking to ride this everywhere except the park. The Navigator costs $649.95. If you're looking for an easier ride that will be fun everywhere, including the park, check out the Outer Space Living. This true twin shape with a 1/2 inch setback stance is made to go anywhere. Here you have a shape based off the Mercury with a camber profile through the body, releasing in reverse cambered tips. This means you'll have no problem riding this board in powder when the time is right. This is a soft flexing board, which makes it great for that rider who is still figuring out their skills in the park, powder, or even carves on groomers. That makes this a great choice for the beginner and intermediate rider who is looking to build their confidence, or the more skilled rider who enjoys a more playful board. There are no surprises in this board. What you see is what you get, meaning what you put into it is what it will deliver back. No aggressive energy to kick back and catch you off guard. The Outer Space Living hits the shelf at $529.95. Two of the most versatile boards in the whole lineup are the Mercury and Mega Merc. These are both going to be slightly directional boards with a 1/2 inch setback stance. The positive camber body releases in shorter reverse camber sections than in the Kazu and Navigator. The faster base, carbon additives in the guts, and 3D thermopolymer Starship core all helps to make the Mega Merc faster, lighter, snappier, and an overall more aggressive ride than the Mercury. Because of this, the Mega Merc should be considered for advanced riders, while the Mercury is better suited for intermediate and above level riders. For the time I spent on these boards, they were both my daily drivers that I rode just as much in the park as I did in powder and on groomers, which is why they are so versatile. I enjoyed having both because they did feel like two different boards, not just a better version of the same board in the Mega Merc. With the Mega Merc and Megadeth sitting at the top of the stack of Capita boards, I would split them for the rider depending on how much freestyle they were looking to ride. If you're riding everywhere, including the park, or in a freestyle manner across all terrain, the Mega Merc may be the better option. While I'm still spinning in powder on the Megadeth, this board would be better for the rider who wants one board and is not expecting to go in the park. These are two of my favorite boards of all time, and ones I have made specific videos on going more into depth while riding each. You You can check both of those out right here. Until next time, I'll see you somewhere on the mountain. Peace.